What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a pretty interesting one. We got the New Orleans Saints versus Washington football team preview and predictions. Now, I know I said I was going to be making videos all week this week. I'm going to stop making promises, but I should be good to go for this next week. I know it's the bye week, but we're still going to have big news coming out. Possibly the return of Michael Thomas. We still have a game to preview coming up the week after this break week where we're going to not really have much to talk about, but we should be hearing about Michael Thomas' status, Tre'Quan Smith's status. There's a lot of moving things going around. We should be getting a lot of guys back. There's going to be some shit to talk about, so I'm back now. I'm not going to promise anything because I feel like I've said the same thing like 4 times already this season, but I'm back. Don't worry about it. So we're going to be talking about the New Orleans Saints versus Washington football team this week. Pretty interesting game, man. These are two teams that both believe they should be better than 2-2, and in retrospect, probably should be. It's two teams that are still trying to find their identity. They're like a bike with training wheels on them. They just aren't really there yet. They have a lot of potential, but it hasn't really been capped. I mean, there's a lot going on with both of these teams. They're in the new toddler, baby, newborn fucking walking stage of being a football team right now because so many things have changed for them in the past 2 seasons. So really interesting stuff here. It just really depends on who comes firing on all cylinders. Because if you watch these teams' games back so far this season, it's like one thing will work one week, then it won't work the next, but something else will. They just haven't been able to fire on all cylinders consistently, and that has been the story of why they are both 2-2. But nonetheless, it still should be a really good game. Let's go ahead and get into this. So, everybody thought the Washington football team was going to have to go into each week riding their defense in hopes of a win. Well, it has been the exact opposite of that. The Washington football team has actually had a horrendous defense this year. Like, horrendous. They have allowed 30.5 points per game, which in itself is horrible. That's 30th in the league. They have allowed 417.5 yards per game, which is 29th in the league. They have a -3 turnover differential because they only have 1 interception, which is extremely lackluster and not what was expected at all. Their pass defense has been atrocious, allowing 10 touchdowns already, which is 28th in the league, and they've also allowed a 106.6 passer rating, which is 27th in the league. The defense has 7 sacks, which isn't terrible, but it's not elite. Chase Young has 0 sacks for himself, so many things on this defense have not been how everybody thought they were going to be. Everybody thought Washington football team was going to have a really good defense, that they were going to have pick up where they left off last year, where they were top 10 in almost every category. They were amazing. Don't know what the hell is going on with Washington, but their defense has been bad. Like, it hasn't been good. It hasn't been middle of the pack. It's been awful. So it really depends on how Jameis Winston and the Saints are able to take advantage of the fact that their defense has been absolute horseshit. And hopefully, this is a big test for Jameis, not because they're playing a good defense, but because he's playing a bad one. Can Sean Payton finally take the chain off and let him loose against a defense we all know has been struggling? A surprise about the Washington football team, though, other than that one, is that their offense has been actually really good. They're number 10 overall in the league in points per game scored with 25.3 points per game, being led by Taylor Heinicke, who has 960 passing yards and 8 passing touchdowns with only 3 interceptions on the season. His stat line is pretty similar to that of Jameis Winston's. Jameis Winston has about, I think, 650 yards, something like that, and then he has 8 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, but Jameis is on a leash, and Taylor Heinicke is allowed to control his offense. That is the difference there. Their run offense has been pretty solid behind Antonio Gibson, putting up an average of 103.3 rushing yards per game. Scary Terry McLaurin will be a big test for Marshawn Lattimore as he has 25 receptions with 354 yards and 3 touchdowns as he's beginning to separate himself as one of the best young wide receivers in the league. It's almost like he makes a spectacular catch every dang week. But yeah, this defense by the Washington football team is coming off of a performance where they allowed 4 passing touchdowns to Matt Ryan. The Saints didn't have the best defensive performance last week either, but their defense has proven to be way better than that of the Washington football teams so far this season. The Saints defense is ranked 5th in points per game allowed, which is fantastic, only allowing 17.3 points per game. That is including the stinker against the Giants where they allowed 27 points, but the fact that that's the worst defensive performance we've seen in a long time says a lot. They're also only allowing 349.3 yards per game, which is inflated because of that Giants game, and that's the 11th in the league. They have a +5 turnover differential, which is insane. That is so important to winning football games. That's the third best in the league. The New Orleans Saints have all of the recipes to win this football game against the Washington football team. Jameis Winston has been a great quarterback this season. Like I said, he has about 650 passing yards, 8 passing touchdowns, and 2 interceptions, which 2 of those interceptions came in that Carolina Panthers game, which needs to be wiped off the face of the planet, never to be seen again, because that's one of the reasons his passing yardage total is so low as well. Very good defensive performance by Carolina, put us on our ass. But yeah, Jameis Winston has been great, extremely efficient this season. He's shown that he can throw the deep ball. Juwan Johnson has been a good, reliable receiving threat for him. Same with Deontay Harris and Marquez Callaway. Really, this offense could be so much better. We, as Saints fans, need to hope that this is the week against a weaker defense, a weak secondary, a weaker team in general, that Jameis Winston is given the keys to the driver's seat of this offense. He's going to be able to turn the ignition on his own, press on the gas, and drive. That is what we need to hope. That is going to be the key to winning this game and many, many, many games coming up in the future. Trust me. So the Saints are 17th in the league in points per game, with only 23.5 points per game being scored by this offense. Not the best. It really is not the best. We are 31st in the league. And I don't like this. We are 31st in the league in passing yards per game. We are only putting up 144 passing yards per game. You have a quarterback in Jameis Winston that could probably throw a 144-yard pass. That's obviously an exaggeration, but I'm saying he has he is one of the best arms in the league as far as arm talent goes, man. His decision making isn't there 100%, but he has looked way better than he has in years past. He has been making extremely smart decisions for the entirety of the season, minus a few. Why are we being so hesitant with him? 31st in the league, passing yards per game. I don't like that at all. But in turn, that gives us the 7th ranking in the league for rushing yards per game with 132.8, which was just put on display by Alvin Kamara, who put up a 120-yard rushing game last week. So the Saints have all of the keys to win this game. They have a really good quarterback that hopefully gets taken off the leash against a terrible secondary that has been struggling all season, a defense that has been struggling in general. We have a really good defense to go against an offense that isn't perennial. So if you look at this and we come and play and we're coached well by Sean Payton, he usually doesn't put up 2 duds in a row. That's not how Sean Payton works. He should come in with a clear mind, ready to put this game away. I do believe that the New Orleans Saints should be favored in this matchup. They are favored by 3 points. I do think they're going to win this game, and I do think it's going to be semi-close. I think the Saints are going to win this with a score of something like, 31-24. I think that would be a pretty solid prediction here. I don't think that the Washington football team is going to be able to get too much going on offense, but I feel like some garbage time scores might be in the mix here. I think the Saints should wholeheartedly win this game with a pretty comfortable margin. I think the Saints are a better team, and if you want to be a Super Bowl contender, this is the kind of game you win. The New Orleans Saints cannot go into the bye week negative. If we go into the bye week 2 and 3, there will be some harsh conversations had. There will be some problems being looked at. That's not good. You're going in the bye week negative for the first time in a long time. So let's hope that that is not the case. Go into the bye week 3 and 2, get pieces like Michael Thomas and Traquan Smith back, and turn this season into one to remember, because that's exactly what it can be. It's a really good team. We just need to go out there and act like it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know down in the comment section below what you think. Who's going to win this game? I appreciate all of your guys' takes, and I'll see you boys in a lot more videos to come this season. Don't tell anybody I told you this, but I might not ship out to basic training until the season's over. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? That's what I've been working on, so I'll let you guys know how everything goes. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you boys in the next one. Adios.